What's up, you guys? It's Vendika once again to talk about. I haven't done this in, I guess, in about a month. Conspiracy theories. But before I start, I want to do a quick little, discussion about what I'm going to be doing on my channel instead of just making a full video about it. Probably once every month or every 3 weeks, I'm going to do a controversial news video, just because it's kind of hard to, find things, I guess, like controversial news that people really care about. I've talked about removing the Confederate flag, Donald Trump as president, and how like our country is going to be okay or not, and then gun control. 2 out of 3 of those, I've gotten tons of negative backlash from it, and I don't like that. But I have to accept it. But yeah, I just want to avoid that as much as possible, so I'll do it every 3 weeks or every once a month. And, I want to give you guys a voice, so, say, comment whatever you want me to do. But that'd be great. So today, back to conspiracy theories. Okay, I'm going to be talking about Unit 731, or 731. Okay, so let's begin. As many conspiracy theorists have pointed out, in 1940, the U.S. government seemed primarily concerned with entering the war in Europe against the Nazis. Coincidentally, little attention was paid to the atrocities, whatever, that the Japanese Imperial Army had committed with atrocities. That's it. Atrocities that the Japanese Imperial Army had committed with biological warfare corps, known as Unit 731, beginning in Manchuria as early as 1932. In 1925, Japan refused to sign the Geneva Convention ban on biological weapons. Japanese officials reasoned that if such weapons were considered so horrible that all other nations have voted to ban them, then they might be just perfect for use by the Japanese military. In 1932, accompanying Japanese troops invading Manchuria, Dr.Ishii, a physician as well as an army officer, began preliminary experiments with biological weapons. Dr. Ishii had gained fame by designing a water filter that had stopped the spread of meningitis in Shikoku, Japan. So he was the best-known bacteriologist in Japan. The invasion of Manchuria was part of a long-range plan in which the Soviet Union would become the enemy, and the victim of Japan's biological weapons program, because he had an almost unlimited supply of Chinese prisoners on whom to experiment. Ishii decided to expand the program to include the effects of living humans. Ishii decided to expand the program to include the effects on living subjects of burns, freezing cold, high pressure, and bullets. Harbin, Manchuria, was the headquarters of Unit 731, which was officially identified to the outside world as the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department of the Kuomintang Army. Dr. Ishii was promoted to full colonel and was provided with 3,000 troops to carry out his orders. In 1936, the research was expanded to include Unit 100 under the direction of Yujiro Wakamatsu, located in Mangchai-tun, near Changchun. The new unit was officially known as the Department of Veterinary Diseases, Prevention of Kwangtung, getting a little tongue-tied, of the Kwangtung Army. In June 1938, Unit 731 relocated to Pingfang and expanded to an area of 19 square miles. Former Unit 731 members later testified that at least 9,000 people were killed in the biological experiments conducted by Dr. Ishii. There were no survivors. In 1942, Unit 731 ordered field tests to evaluate the effectiveness of biological weapons outside the laboratory. Chinese prisoners were forced to march amidst clouds of poison gas so that their reactions could be filmed for study in the safe of the laboratory. Japanese planes dropped plague-infected fleas over Ningbo in eastern China and over Changde in north-central China. And the experimenters had cause for celebration when the plague broke out in both cities, and tens of thousands had died. Premier Shideki Tojo personally awarded Dr. Ishii military honors for his expertise in developing biological weapons. On occasion, the Japanese experiments backfired on their own troops. In 1942, germ warfare scientists distributed dysentery, cholera, and typhoid in the wells and ponds of Zhejiang province in China. But the accompanying Japanese soldiers became very ill, and about 1,700 died from the trio of deadly germ colonies that had dropped in the water. In the summer of 1945, Japanese generals suggested to use kamikaze suicide pilots to drop bombs of plague-infected fleas on San Diego. Although no biological weapons were utilized, 9,000 balloons, each carrying 4 incendiary and 1 anti-personnel bomb, were launched across the Pacific on the jet stream. Some of these fugo balloons actually made it across the ocean and caused a few fires and very few deaths along the west coast. In July 1945, an attack team was assigned to board a submarine that was to carry a plane to the coast of Southern California. The plane's crew had orders to drop plague-infested fleas over San Diego on September 22nd. Plans were changed to make a last-ditch attack against the U.S. fleet of the Micronesian island of Aleut, just as the war ended. In the final days of World War II, Japanese troops blew up the headquarters of Unit 731. Ishii gave the order to kill the remaining 150 subjects in order to cover up the evidence of experiments that were being conducted on them. It was said by some of his associates that Ishii's greatest personality trait in achieving success was his lack of morality. In determining the effects of certain in determining the internal effects of certain of the experiment. Did I seriously type that? The internal effects of certain of the experimental diseases on its subjects. Ishii conducted many autopsies when the subjects were still alive. Vivisections were performed without giving anesthetic to the subjects, and experiments were even conducted on babies as young as 3 weeks. As Unit 731 retreated from China, they released plague-infected animals, causing an outbreak of disease that killed 30,000 people in the area of Harbin from 1946 through 1948. In 1946, Ishii and his colleagues received immunity from war crimes prosecution in exchange for their data on biological warfare effects on humans. The statement of the Committee for the Far East, a subcommittee of the State War Navy Coordinating Committee in Washington, was the value to the U.S. of Japanese biological warfare data is of such importance to national security as to far outweigh the value of accruing from war crimes prosecution. General MacArthur added that biological warfare information obtained from the Japanese sources should be retained in top secret intelligence channels. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this very disturbing, dark history, whatever. It falls into the same category. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, because it's interesting to hear about this kind of dark stuff that they did during the war times. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and as always, stay clean. I don't even know where I was going with that. Yeah, and as always, Be cool. All right, see you guys.